Good morning, everyone, on a bright and sunny Tuesday. Didn't start off so bright. It was kind of rainy when I first woke up and got up, but certainly has improved. So a glorious day, and I hope that you'll be able to get out and about. Perhaps not quite gardening weather yet, at least not for some of us, but to be out and about and to enjoy the day. And whatever is happening today, I hope you do enjoy it. I'm not starting off on the best foot. I'm beginning to think I'm really getting old. Ever feel that way, that you're really getting old? It might be because, you're just taking a bit longer to get out your chair. It might be because you're making more and more noises getting out your chair or getting up. It might be because you're not doing as much as you used to do, and that's just part and parcel. But sometimes that feeling of getting old is because you feel that the world is just moving so fast and changing in ways that you don't really want them to change. You're quite happy with the world that you live in, and you can take that any way you want it as well. But these days, I'm struggling sometimes when I hear people using words that were never words in my day. New words, newfangled words, new ways of describing things, or wow, and you just think, what's happening to our language, and why can't it just stay the same? Why do we need new words? Of course we do need new words, because there's new things being produced all the time. One of the reasons perhaps I'm feeling old is because I'm trying to get my head around something called a Padlet, another way of communicating, believe it or not, and sharing ideas with technology. It just never stops. And the way that young people, or younger than I am certainly, use words. I looked it all up, and one of the things is called verbing, using nouns as verbs and verbs as nouns. And, well, you know what? We can get upset about it. We can rant and rave about it. We can shake our heads and wonder about it. Or we can just think, I know what they mean. Does it matter what actual words we use, as long as we communicate well? And if we know what another one means, how many times have you actually made up a word while you were speaking? Maybe you didn't mean to. Maybe you just got caught between two words. Or maybe we're just making up words to express what we feel. And it's a mixture, so we mix up our words. But making up new words isn't new either. Shakespeare made up so many words that we now use. In fact, that word I used earlier, newfangled, that's a Shakespearean word. It wasn't there before. Also things like cold-blooded that William Shakespeare brought into our language that we use quite happily now. Swagger, zany, lonely, addiction, all from Shakespeare, apparently. I believe what I read on Google. But the words that we sometimes just make up, just to fit. So part of this, feeling old, myself, yourself, all of us, maybe just have to get over that. Not that we have to adopt the same ways, but if we know what a person means when they're speaking to us, does it matter if the word is exactly what we would have used? Or the grammar even is exactly as we would put it? I don't know. I'm still one of those folk who get really, really upset when apostrophes are in the wrong place. So, I have my ways as well. But I'll not be able to change the way the world is working. I'll not be able to change the way that language is used. So maybe I just have to get over it and get over myself. But the other reason I'm feeling a bit old is that, for reasons best known to myself, I bought marbles last week. Maybe because I'm losing a few of my own and I needed some extras. But anyway, I ordered up some marbles. And they arrived quite happily. And two things. One is that the tin that they arrived in says Super Retro Toys. Super Retro? Really? Not just retro, but super retro? I remember playing, well, it wasn't even marbles. You see, there's language changing again, because we played bulls. Maybe that was just a shortening version of marbles Maybe that was just how we spoke in Edinburgh and around the tenements, playing marbles in the street, in the middle of the road sometimes, or on the pavements. But we played bowls, and we went with our wee bag of bowls and played. And at the end of the game, we took back our marbles, or if it was a keepies game, then we might have to forfeit the marbles that we'd lost. Or if we weren't playing marbles, we'd swap them. We'd have our cat's eyes ones for the solid colour ones. We'd want the ones that we preferred at the time, the ones that were in vogue, and we changed them and we swapped them. But to see a game that we played, not just as retro, but as super retro, I start thinking, no, am I really getting that old? And replies are not required on that question. I remember I've got a game up the stairs in a drawer called Jacks. Remember Jacks? Where you had to pick up a certain number of kind of star-shaped plastic, or if you were really well off, metal little bits as you caught a ball. All those games, super retro, really? How do we adapt? How do we cope with this changing world? Because this world is changing so quickly. And let's hope and pray that this world continues to change. But let's be part of that change. And let's not just sit back and say, oh, we're too old. Let's not sit back and say, I can't get my head around this. I might never get my head around new technology, things like Padlets. I might never do it, but I can try. And I know folk much older than me, even folk older than me, who have got their head around iPads, Facebook Live, all the things that we're doing now. But let's not rest there. And let's not just allow the world to change however, as it wants or as others push it. But let's be those agents for change. And perhaps the older we are, the more we can do that and the better we can do that. Perhaps we have a little bit more time, or perhaps we've a little bit more wisdom. Perhaps we've had a little bit more time to think about these things. Perhaps we've seen the changes that are good and those that are not so good. And perhaps in seeing the changes that have been happening, we can use the wisdom that we have, the marbles that we've got left, to actually see how we can make a positive difference. And that might be in looking to change things around us that we can manage to do. But it might also be in encouraging the others who can. The younger people perhaps, who need our voices, who need our encouragement, who need us to be supporting them, cheering them on, to make the changes that are positive and worthwhile for us and for all creation. On a glorious day like this in Dalgety Bay, we can see that creation in all its glory. But we need to have change now to ensure that that creation continues. So rather than thinking, oh, just getting old, getting weary, let's just sit back and forget it. Let's not. But let's actually raise our heads again. And yes, we can grump about the new words that are coming in that we can't get our head round. Yes, we can have a wee bit moan here and there if folks say that we're ultra retro. But let's laugh at it, smile at it, and get on with it. Because there are such important matters, so many important changes that need to be made. And us using all our energies and complaining about new words, new language, new ways, is really probably a waste of energy. Let's use the energy that we've got left, no matter how old we might be. Use the energy that we've got left to actually step up, help to change the world in the way that it needs to be changed. And if we're not able to do that, support those who can. Today's a day to support, to be positive, to see what we can make that is wonderful, awesome, and to protect God's creation. So, a day of change? Maybe. I've certainly changed a couple of times from being out in rain and coming back and wondering if it's going to rain again. We can change our clothes easy enough, but we need to change our attitudes, and that takes a bit more time and effort. But one thing I'm sure of, we can do it. Enjoy your day, whatever that day holds for you. Make the most of it and find some young company perhaps. Learn the words that they are using at the moment to describe the world around and what's happening. And use them. Learn those words and learn how to use them. Like we've learned how to use technology. We might be getting older, but we've got a lot to give as yet. Together, we can make it happen. God bless your day, whatever you're doing in it, and may you know that the one who doesn't change, the God who's the same yesterday, today, forever, also offers us the love that never changes. That love is for you and me and for all creation. So let's make that love known. God bless.